April. Just because it got rolled out so fast, there were
It
logistics
was
that.
rolled out in the fall of the year.
We started ships in April.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fall before is when it was
When
first
it was
brought up.
yeah.
But there was no plan in place on how to actually implement it. They got the trainings in place in a hurry, and we did those in January 24. April of 24, we started our shifts. So it was in place for a year and a half. And then this 600,000 that was supposed to be set aside for maybe for 2 years, because that's what happened with Northern Shield. They set a certain amount aside for Northern Shield.
This is state funded too, correct?
State funded. And it turned out that that money set aside for Northern Shield was for 2 years, and if they run it the same way, 300,000 per year for Northern Border is nothing. I mean, we could almost
Especially with all the
accomplish that.
departments
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah, well, and that's including benefits and fuel and what have you and all
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's not a lot of money.
we've done over 50% of the local shifts, the local departments,
That includes the sheriff's department?
including the sheriff's department. We've done, yeah, if you check the
Who
calendars.
do you schedule the local departments or is that scheduled through state police?
State Police, Dennis Wade
Dennis Wade
manages the
is the
schedule. We submit our request to him.
It's all on a volunteer basis, so obviously we've had the majority of, over 50% of the volunteers.
Midway through a month, I put an email out with letting them know the patrol schedule is good for next month. Let me know what are your days off you want to put towards Northern Border. They give me their requests. I submit that to Dennis Wade, and then 90% of our shifts are approved.
90%, that's what my next question was gonna be. So if you put in for it, it's a likelihood that you're gonna get it.
Yeah, there's very little overlap. They just don't want, too many people put into the same day between state agencies and the other local agencies and ourselves. So we get at least 90% of what we put in.
We're also one of the larger departments in COAS as well. So. Any questions on the financials? No.
I'm gonna have some questions on invoices. I don't know if we
Okay.
wanna put those off or you wanna.
No, we're gonna finish that and then we have guests here
Yeah.
today.
First of all, on the first page, we have Indeed. Is Indeed worth what we're paying? I mean, are we getting any benefit out of it?
We have hired from Indeed.
When
So-
you say that, does that mean 1 or 10 or, I know you may not be able to give us exact numbers, but has it been,
Probably 4. And we just shut down the ad because we're technically full staff aside from the temp position. So we may have one more partial invoice from Indeed, but otherwise that's it for right now. But
I got one for this month alone.
okay,
Yeah.
so I checked into other platforms. I met with a specialist from ZipRecruiter, and they do everything through these algorithms, and they can research keywords in resumes and see what there is in your area for interest. And the specialist from ZipRecruiter said, I would feel bad taking your money because we don't have much to offer you in your area. So we did use ZipRecruiter, and that would have cost us. We've used other free platforms. Police app is one that we've used, which has not resulted in anything good. We've used Facebook, which is free.
Yeah, and I
I've
feel
had
like
nothing.
Oh, really? For dispatch? Yesterday I posted the ad, and a half an hour later, there was a guy in the lobby looking for an application. And I've already got 3 applications since yesterday.
It's worked for dispatch, but
Not
we
so much.
have not been receiving local applications using Facebook for patrol officer positions. So it's expensive, but it does produce. If you just think 3 or 4 officers for the cost
that we're actually hired?
that were actually hired, yes.
So,
It gives us a lot to filter through. We get a lot of applications from all over the country.
yeah,
Florida, Texas, you name it.
Can you pause it, like pause the subscription and restart it back and forth?
We just closed the ad and we can open it back up
Oh,
anytime.
okay.
So we did close the ad.
what are portable encapsulator bullet traps?
So.
Two lines down.
Yes, yes.
I wish I could describe it better too, but
I mean, we're looking at $5,800.
Yes, I
so I'm
can,
wondering.
and that we did get quotes on, and that gave us 2 of those. That will allow us to use our shoot house, and the shoot house will last this way. So the shoot house walls are made to take rounds. So rounds will not get through it. However, it's not intended that you shoot at the walls to the shoot house, because over time, the walls are gonna give way and
They're gonna
the sand that's in them
disintegrate or what
is
have
just
you.
gonna leak right out.
Oh, it's sand? Okay.
It's sand. The city helped us fill it. So these bullet traps are where you set up your targets and you can actually utilize the shoot house. They catch bullets. Right from a .308 round, they will not go through. I can show you a video later if you want to see it, demonstration. This was one of the cheaper options, and it also is one of the better options where it's going to last a lot longer. Action Target's a very popular company. They're at most of the trade shows, and they have bullet traps with a backing that's about 4 or 5 inches thick. After so many rounds, you have to pay to replace that part of the trap. These bullet traps, the backing is about 14 inches thick. Thousands and thousands of rounds before you have to replace these blocks.
Where do they go? Do they go in the front of the stand or, I guess?
So they're on wheels. They're
Okay.
stands on wheels, a little bit bigger than a standard size target. You put your targets on them and you can move them around in the shoot house. We're just about done the shoot house where it's going to be modular, where there's some permanent walls within it, but we're going to put some modular walls in that we can move along and change layouts. So
You get different
it's almost-
configurations inside.
So when the officers go in, they don't know what they're going into, which is very typical of a lot of situations we go into. And so these bullet traps will allow us to set up targets that they can shoot at, live fire drills. But there's a lot that goes behind using a shoot house to make sure that it's done safely. It's secured, nobody can use it but our instructors. We know what they're doing, we're gonna do it safely. It's likely only gonna be a single shooter at a time running through scenarios. So that's what these traps are, to make this shoot house last
For a long time.
pretty much forever.
Do they catch the round and so that helps in lead mitigation?
Yes.
In the future.
We did demo it a few weeks ago. Sergeant Gale and I demoed this. I have a brief video clip of us demoing this. It's incredible. You can do a contact shot with the 308, barrel right on it.
And it'll stop it?
Oh, that's impressive.
Yes. So we
What
did
is it made
the
of?
contact shots. It looks like a recycled rubber. And there are 6 blocks per encapsulator that you stack, and then they get bolted down, pressure from the top.
Right.
And each block weighs close to 70 pounds. It's self-healing. So we put about 40 rounds into it, and you can't tell where the round went.
That's why it costs.
And this was one of the cheaper options. Action Target sells one that's more expensive and doesn't last as long. So we did our research in picking these out. I saw some at trade shows.
And this is essentially for the ERP kit, or will other officers go through the scenarios?
We will probably make this part of our basic training program for new officers so they can do some live fire drill and get some good stress training. Because when you go into a situation that you're not familiar with, it increases the stress. Stress inoculation is very important so that our officers can make good decisions under stress because they've experienced it.
And it doesn't have to be gunfight type stress. This translates into, it's transferable skill in other situations.
As soon as you start placing them in unknowns, that increases stress. They don't know what they're going into, it increases stress, and it makes them better.
Yeah. Okay. Based on the anticipated use, how long are these gonna last? They're gonna last a year, they're gonna have to be replaced once a year, or
Oh, my goodness.
once in 20 years, or what? I'm just looking at the recurring expense.
I don't expect us to have to, so we only have to replace those blocks that go in the stands. I don't have the pricing on the blocks. But it'd be a fraction of what you see here to replace a block, because also there's 6 of them, and most of the time we're gonna be shooting in the same area. So if this one starts to get worn, we'll rotate. And we probably won't have to replace a block for 10, 20 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
My question is the next line down. What is that DMS policy training? Is that the,
Power DMS is our policy management software, which also tracks our training.
okay, this is fairly new,
I've had this about a year and a half.
yeah. This is part of the same policy that does your scheduling as well for the officers?
No, that's a LiveTech.
Okay.
So, each of the softwares that we use, LiveTech and Power DMS, do multiple things. LiveTech is the scheduling and overtime tracking and helps with payroll, and Power DMS is our policies and training tracking.
Requirements, yeah.
Saves a lot of time because it calculates hours for me for everyone. I don't have to manually count up hours to see if people have met their requirements for the state for each year. And we're able to scan their training records into it. All their certificates are in there. They can go look and see. If I'm not sure if they're certified in something, I can go look and see. And so I did a printout for you for 2025 year-to-date.
Year-to-date training?
The training that the officers have incurred. Some training counts towards their hours and some doesn't. And I'm able to differentiate that in Power DMS, because the defensive tactics, medical, and firearms do not count towards their required training hours, but they still are required to do a certain amount of those, just ads. So.
Any other questions on the financial?
I think I do. Second. On the next to last page, there's, I think it was Officer Herman with some training down the bottom. Gaylord Opry Resort, and then it keeps referring to it as, on your second column, as Uber all the way down.
Yes.
And so I'm just,
Instead of a rental car.
is that, are we buying meals here, or are we paying for Uber, or what?
So we're getting reimbursed through COSAP for that.
Through what?
The grant.
Oh, the grant.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Both, actually, right?
it's Uber rides to going to dinner or breakfast and,
While at the conference.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's a required conference, that's part of the grant, that the grant does pay for.
Oh, that is required by the grant.
It is. This one conference is required by the grant.
Like the deputy chief said, instead of renting a vehicle, that was how we got back and forth.
Yeah.
Where was the conference? Boston?
Tennessee, Nashville.
Oh, Nashville.
Not too many Opry resorts in Boston. And it was, and if we go to the last page, again, Josh Sherman, was that the same conference?
Yes.
It was a drug conference?
Yeah.
All right. I'm satisfied with the answers. Thank you.
Entertain a motion to accept the financials as presented.
So moved. You gonna second it? For the
I'm
record?
gonna second it, yes. I'm assuming you have something to present to the commission discussion this morning.
Yes.
I'd like to amend the agenda so you don't have to stand through this. It's gonna be a while. So, you're on, sir.
Okay. I was here last time.
New chief.
Now I can hear you.
I was here last time and I haven't had an issue and still not resolved. And I've had the police called on me again, and now the police were involved in this for an hour. And it's a big waste of time because I exercise my rights. And I asked the former chief if he could explain it to me, and he was very dismissive of me and told me that this is the way it is. And after I was here, after our last conversation, I thought it would be easy to work out. It didn't work out. So I just don't know where to go from here. I did a little research and just wanted to bring up a few things that I noticed about the law. Okay, and I didn't bore you with the sites, but this is U.S. Miller versus U.S. The claim and exercise of a constitutional right cannot be converted into a crime. Close quote. Okay, that's what I figured. I'm exercising my right, and they're threatening me with issuance of tickets. Okay? Next one is the laws are to be more liberally interpreted in order that their intent be preserved. Okay? We take the liberal intent. What the chief seemed to be doing was finding a broad picture and then going on a fishing expedition to how he could figure out how to cite me. Okay, the next point that I have is the natural liberty is the power of acting as one think fit without any restraint or control unless by the law of nature. What I'm doing does not interfere with anybody else except for a busybody neighbor, but nobody else. All the other neighbors don't have a problem with the way I exercise my rights. Okay, then the next one I have, in a criminal matter, the act does not make the person guilty unless the intention be guilty also. I am here, I am not guilty of committing any crime, I am placing it before you all, because I am not guilty. If somebody can show me that where I am guilty, I'd be willing to change my mind, but we're not at that point yet. Okay, and the next one is very interesting because it says clearly, he who does not repel an injury when he can induces it. And I am here to repel the injury before it's induced. Okay, I'm setting this up here for you guys. The next one is, no man can forfeit another's right. Somebody makes an anonymous phone call about me, and now I can't exercise my rights, according to the police department.
Are you still walking your dog in the same manner that you always
No,
have?
I'm withholding from that
Yep.
till I get this resolved. Or I get ticketed and then we go to the next lane. The next one is, and let's not refer to it as a dog, it's an animal according to the definition of traffic. So, animal. Okay, then the next one is, a burdensome condition ought not be brought upon a man by an act of another. An anonymous complaint, and he's violating my rights. Then I happen to come across criminal law title 18 U.S.C. 241, conspiracy against rights. If two or more persons conspire to injure, oppress, threaten or intimidate any person in any state, territory, commonwealth, possession or district in the free exercise or enjoyment of any right or privilege secured to him by the Constitution or the laws of the United States, or because of his having so exercised the same. You know, I really feel that I'm being picked out, targeted for something where I shouldn't be. Then I came across 18 U.S.C. Code 242, deprivation of rights under the color of law. quote, whoever under the color of law, statute, comma, statute, comma, ordinance, comma, regulation, comma, or custom willfully subjects any person in any state, territory, comma, commonwealth, comma, possession, comma, or district to the deprivation of any right, comma, privilege, comma, or immunity secured by and protected by the Constitution or the laws of the United States. And then the last thing I have to say is from the United States Constitution. Constitution for the United States, Article 6, second clause, and it clearly states that this Constitution and the laws of the United States shall be made in pursuance thereof, shall be the supreme law of the land, and judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything, uppercase T on thing, anything in the Constitution or the laws of any state to the contrary is notwithstanding. I feel I have enough forethought in the law here that this should be addressed now before it gets any further. And that's all I gotta say.
I just had one question, if I may.
Yeah.
I might rude the moment that I asked it, but what right do you say that you've been violated? What's the right that's been being violated?
To exercise my rights.
What
That's
is the right? Yeah, but you're referring to a right.
A right.
What is the right?
To freedom to travel, to freedom to do. Okay, let's go back to where it's saying.
I mean, you're telling us.
Let me go back to where it says here.
I've heard all of that. What I'm questioning is,
Just
Are
for
you
the
saying
record,
you've got a
he's the
right to
former
walk?
county attorney,
are
40 years.
you
for this
saying you have
county.
the right to walk your dog on a leash through the window of your car in a moving vehicle? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I say I have the right to exercise my animal on the roads according to the definition of the word traffic in the Berlin Code and the New Hampshire State Code. Clearly states animals are on the road. Have you ever read it?
You're not going to question me. But my issue is, it's a safety issue for you, for the dog, and for any other traffic on the road.
Okay.
As I see it.
Okay. So now you want to take control of safety of my dog?
Well,
Do you have the authority to take over the control and safety of my dog if it's not being
Are we
wanted?
dealing with cruelty? Are we dealing with cruelty to animals?
I've heard, yes, I work with the Neapolitan Mastiff Rescue. I've worked on these cases. Somebody's gonna accuse me of that?
I'm not accusing you.
I'm not
of
saying, but I'm
anything.
saying that the person who made the phone call is accusing me. And this is how it all started, because one busybody gets a phone call, and doesn't like me.
Yeah. So you've answered my question as far as I'm concerned. Thank you.
I answered it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and I just was saying, oh yeah. All right, about my right. So that's it, I have a right, and the definition of the word traffic says, traffic shall mean pedestrians, comma, animals ridden and or herded, comma, and then a bunch of conveyances and other things. It clearly states animals are to be on the road. And the former chief said, well, this was written back in the 1880s to the 1920s when we had agriculture and rural
Horse and
conditions.
buggy, yeah.
But we've had 140 years to do away with the law if it's not necessary, and they haven't done it. Okay?
Mr. Rosano, I don't know all the particulars of your case, having just started 2 weeks ago, but one of the things that I'll point out is, I understand that you're reading the ordinance, you're reading what the definition of traffic is, but the state and the federal government also put additional restrictions on what can occur on roadways, like inspection requirements on vehicles is what I'm saying, and not having a full grasp of everything that's transpired in your issue, which I will look into after the meeting. But it sounds like the department has researched it and looked at it as a safety issue for not only your dog, but you and other people using the roadways. Just like inspection requirements on vehicles, you know what I mean?
The complaint is not about other vehicles. Nobody anywhere in any complaint said I only do it when there's no traffic on the road. It's only a busybody neighbor and his computer and his surveillance camera. He took a police officer and had him show the 45 minutes worth of video of me running my dog, exercising my dog. It's so. No, you should address the point if it's a state law, then you have to check within the whole state. You just can't go by the little bit. Did the former chief of police check to see if what I'm saying is correct with the laws that have been adjudicated and that all the court cases that have been brought forth, that he is correct when he says that? Or is he giving you legal advice from a police chief point of view?
Well, I don't know what he did,
Yeah,
because
right.
I'm not him.
Okay, I'd like to, if you'd like to talk it over with me personally, I would be more than willing. If you have an open door policy, we don't have to waste any more time.
Well, I will sit down with you after I've looked at what we've done
Okay.
at this point and I get the full grasp of the whole situation.
So I'll
Fair enough?
call you in the end of today's thing. Call you early next week.
Okay.
I'll make an appointment.
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I love Berlin. I really do. And I just gotta get this straightened out so I can go on living my life without interference.
We hope we can get
All
a
right.
resolution.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Deputy comes back.
I'm glad to see you back, Jeff.
Thank you. Long time no see.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific issue today?
Nope.
I
I'm just here to film.
Okay.
As usual. I'm just his helper
My son.
and helper.
And helper. Moving on to old business.
So I just wanted to touch base on next year's budget. I was at the last city council meeting, and they did do a read and tabled it for public comments or a public hearing for this coming Monday. So just nothing that's been changed since the last meeting in May. I met with the city manager Tuesday. And we're still moving forward with what the budget we've presented so far.
They still took the 40,000. Because that, yes, okay.
At the last hearing, they were talking about the 57-cent increase.
And the taxes, yeah.
Yeah, and it started at 87 cents. I don't remember which meeting prior, but it had started at 87 cents and the city manager got it down to 57 cents.
I think that was mentioned at the public hearing for the budget.
Something to be noted, it was during the meeting on, it was June 2nd, I believe, is the meeting that it was at, the city council. The city manager commented that in order to flatline that 57 cents would be 440,000. And taking half of it from the school, half of it from the city side of things, they felt the only place that they could take it from was personnel layoffs. The city manager threw out 3 from Public Works, 1 from the police department.
He did do that.
Yeah, as I'm cautious, I mean, he said it in a public meeting, but I'm cautious because it was not his intent to say, hey, we need to lay these people off. It was, this is the only way in this budget that we could get that money. The council did not support layoffs, the mayor did not support layoffs. But it was mentioned during the meeting.
So it was as his only
Yes,
possible solution.
if
to
we
the
want to
problem.
flatline the city budget, we're
Yeah.
gonna, this is what's gonna happen. So,
To be continued.
yeah, so there's a meeting Monday, it was tabled till this coming Monday, June 16th.
Yeah.
And I'll be there also to see what's said.
This is the regular public meeting.
Yes,
Not,
yeah.
not,
Well,
they
there's a
meet
work
every-
session.
not the work session.
Yeah, there's a work session, then it's going into the public meeting for the resolution.
They meet every other week now.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
First and third. First and third of the month.
Do they meet on work sessions in between those? Or is that all
Usually
the?
before the public.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, usually
same-
they meet before,
same
same
day.
day.
Okay, sure.
So that's it for the 26 budget, right now anyways. Old business B, other.
I don't have anything, I added it in case you guys did, being at my first meeting.
I understand that. And thankfully, we postponed it a week because it would have been even
Yeah.
more.
Unless,
Difficult.
do you have, no, okay.
Very good. Moving on to the new business, A, the ATV Festival Meeting.
So last week, the deputy chief, Lieutenant Howery, and I met with members from the chamber in reference to the ATV festival. It was not an extensive meeting. It sounds like everything is pretty much a carbon copy of the last couple of years, Adjournment to Jericho as opposed to the ATV festival.
Yeah.
The deputy chief has already got our schedule out.
We've been doing this for multiple years now, so we've got, I mean, we can always improve, but.
It was a little difficult getting
Yeah.
the next meeting for the whole public safety together, for picking a date with everything that's going on.
It's gonna be the same, the end of July or.
First and second of August, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second year where it's not gonna include Jericho State Park.
It's not gonna include
No.
it as well. It's significantly less work for you, I think, or more.
No, it's a little bit less for us, a lot less for them. And the issue is the economy with the side-by-sides and ATVs is not what it used to be. And they can't get those vendors to come up anymore. So it's,
It sounds like the market is kind of in
Shrinking?
flux. Yeah.
Well.
So,
Not surprising, but I was talking to one of the officers, the first weekend was pretty busy, really. People were raring to come back and.
it is, and most of our ATV traffic is out of staters.
yeah.
So they're not buying their side-by-sides and four-wheelers up this way.
I think it's run, it's not, I mean, we're always gonna have local people that are interested in doing it, but it seems to have slowed down the amount of local people that are out there.
Well, I think it's turned off the local people, doesn't it? I know I pedaled up to Success yesterday and was almost hit by two side-by-sides. You know, which probably didn't belong there. They were probably lost, trying to find their way.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, thankfully. That's it on the festival?
Yeah.
How about new business B, ATV legislative tour of Jericho State Park?
So yesterday,
Oh, that was just yesterday, okay,
Yeah.
so you did.
I should have went to the park.
That's probably why I did go in the park.
There must have been 40
Throughout the
40,
state.
40 bikes, 40 side-by-sides that came. It was mostly legislators, NOVA, New Hampshire Off-Road Vehicle Association, was there. They're the ones that kind of put it on.
Did they bring their own
So
side-by-sides or were some
Ray
provided? Oh, Ray Bergeron, yeah.
his company provided side-by-sides.
Yeah.
For those that didn't have it, because there was quite a few, actually, Councilman Corzine and his wife, who's a, she's a state
She's a
rep?
state rep.
Yeah,
She's a state
she's a
rep.
state rep, attended it. So it went up to the warming hut, or it started at Mom's, went up to the warming hut, ended up coming down from the warming hut to the Jericho Lake State Park Pavilion there. They served them lunch, and then, like, I talked, the sheriff's department talked, the fishing game talked about the things we're seeing on the trails. And one of the interesting things that came up was the deputy chief's point earlier about the market, and the Larry, I forget his
Reserve,
last-
Julian.
Reserve, spoke about the reduction in snowmobiles. And
That's been going-
manufacturing
that's been going
snowmobiles,
on.
not only OHRVs, but snowmobiles are also, is like, I guess Yamaha is not even making snowmobiles anymore. They're slated
Oh,
to,
no, that they discontinue. Well, you know what, in all fairness, our winters haven't been
Well, and
conducive
they
to riding.
they
you know?
brought that up, and one of the things, and I think it was Larry that said that this was kind of my ulterior motive for getting you guys up here, was they're looking at changing, or no, I believe it's Nova and the businesses that are involved in this are looking at changing like the definition of an ATV and the definition of a tracked vehicle, because a snowmobile has a definition statutorily of rules, under administrative rules, but it's only so wide, only weighs so much. So when you take a side-by-side and you put tracks on it, it's way too wide.
Yeah.
It weighs way too much. So I think that the business and the market solution to this is hey, let's amend these rules and laws to allow side-by-sides with tracks.
So they can ride them all year round.
Yeah, because once they were claiming once the ground's frozen and even a little bit of snow, these tracks it's no different than a snowmobile track.
Sure.
Actually, Ray Bergeron was the one that said, it's basically a vehicle with 4 snowmobile tracks on it, and that's that. I don't know, I'd have to look at, I don't know a lot about the track system, because obviously if they would change that law, that means we would have tracked ATVs and tracked side-by-sides coming through the city. And typically the snowmobiles ride on certain sidewalks, you know what I mean, which obviously some of these side-by-sides with tracks are wider than these tables are.
Sure.
Well, just as big as a vehicle, really.
Yeah, so I don't know.
You have to look at all the repercussions, because if they're riding on the road, how's
Right.
that gonna affect public works and keeping the highway?
Well, and I don't know if you guys have been down towards the Mount Washington Auto Road, but they drive the tracked vans that they take people to the top during the winter, and if they're studded, well, they chew up the pavement.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I'm not, obviously this is the infancy stages, because they're just trying to petition the legislators to change this.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
This is a solution to keep the business plan
Right.
going, in other
Right.
words, because I think some of it is the economy as well,
yeah. And there was plugs by me, the sheriff's office, to kind of extend the Fish and Game grant program, or get more funding through the vehicle registrations and state budget for OHRV enforcement. So there was, the legislators were advised that it could be helpful
Yeah.
if we could get.
So if you had 40, you must have had most of the
It was-
co-ops.
It was quite a few, yeah.
Well, that's 10% of the.
Well, and I think a lot of them came from southern part of the state. So,
Well, there's trails even down the southern part of this.
yeah, they were, I didn't realize it, well, I knew that there was some, but I guess the Newport area or Claremont area, there's like.
Even in Newfield.
They're starting to
Hey, yes,
expand.
that's why in the Newfield, they contacted me about.
Well, they
the
did
ATV.
about
Yes.
registration.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of their offices.
My neighbor.
Oh,
Part-time
okay,
officer,
yeah,
yeah.
so they reached out to
Which,
me.
which was said yesterday during this meeting that they had after the luncheon, was if it's expanding across the state, that OHRV enforcement is gonna get split up even more.
And there'll be a larger need for it as well.
Yeah, because like the sheriff's office, I think they were saying yesterday that 2 years ago, or maybe even last year, they got over $9,000 for enforcement. And this year they got, I think, right around where we got, what, 5,400 we got? So,
Well, the sheriff's department does
A lot on their
75% of the enforcement in this area.
yeah, and a lot on their own, through their own budget.
Is that it on that? Oh, by the way, how were the trips?
Actually, we stayed mainly on the
Main trails?
main trails, and I think that had a lot to do with, I'm sure some of these legislators have never driven a side-by-side.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Ray didn't want his machines going on some of the bad trails, but actually, because I used to have one, and
Have what?
side-by-side
Oh, you did?
years ago, and the trails now, they were a lot better than I remembered them, the ones we were on.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a couple of spots that were kind of hairy, but I think it's had
How
to
was
do
Smitty's?
It's better than what I've heard.
Yeah,
It
Smitty's
was, that's
is
one of
boxed
those spots that was pretty rutted up at one point, just before you get into the city, where the Berlin starts and Gorham ends. But I think it has to do with the rain.
Oh, we've had so much rain.
I think this is weekend 14, we're gonna have rain.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It's not gonna rain this weekend.
No.
Not much.
No.
What's the rain around?
Like it's not gonna rain much for the last
Yeah, it's
19
actually
weeks.
pleasant.
Cancel-
How well
cancel
the
rain
trails
for this
were.
weekend.
Wow.
Called it in.
Are we all set with our ATVs as far as for patrol?
We have the two new ones that we purchased last year. Those have been out.
Okay, if that's it for that. Sounds like that was pretty interesting. Now, they've done that last year as
Yes,
well.
yeah, they did, yeah. I'm not sure about the year before, but they did it last year, definitely.
New business C, lead field day, which is the law
So-
enforcement.
Yeah, basically the new version of DARE.
Yeah,
Right. So every year, at the end of the year, they have a field day. It was at Heritage Park on Monday, where the kids have like a picnic and play games and stuff like that. So Officer Spalonga was the one that, Corporal Spalonga was the one that did that. So
So kids from right before the school ends, they.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone that participated is award
yeah, I
a
believe
diploma or
it's-
something given at that time, or?
Fifth grade?
Yeah.
It's in lieu of what they used to do at graduation.
Yep.
In the evening, they now do the field day instead.
Probably makes more sense. Probably the kids enjoy it.
That's for sure.
yeah, and then sitting in a chair waiting for your name to be
Yeah.
called.
So Zach Howery is not involved in the lead program anymore,
Oh, no,
or is he?
He is. He's on vacation this week.
He does the Mylan part of the program, and Corporal Spalonga does the Burroughs.
Okay.
Okay.
New business D, fishing derby.
Why don't let Wade talk?
I thought you would.
It was a good event. The attendance, I think we had 99 kids that registered. A little bit down from the first year, but I figure sophomore year, you'll get that. Weather was fine, no rain, couple bugs. You were there, obviously. in
I was there
attendance.
most of the, yeah. I do have some suggestions for next year.
Yeah, I
Food.
I know, that's, we were talking about it first.
Did you say glue? What did you say?
Food,
Oh.
not glue, food,
The biggest hurdle for the food.
coffee anyways.
The food thing will be, the biggest hurdle for food will be, the money. I mean,
Yep.
you can find people to cook this stuff, but it's just a matter of isolating the funds, donations, if you will, which is part of the next year's to have.
I think that'll be a simple solution.
Yeah, hot dogs and hamburgers. I mean, the big improvement was the outhouse porta potty, and
Yes,
that's
yeah.
helpful to many.
I think another suggestion too is probably trimming a little further to give more space in the back, you know.
Yeah, that's on the list. It's growing back there, and
It is grown in.
What about-
there was a point where you could pretty much walk around the whole pond up to the brook.
Well, there was some nice fish caught.
They're still there, because I went there last week in
Really?
the morning, and I saw,
They're still there. Oh, I'll have to take my, he's coming up, my grandson, but we'll go
Some
into the
people
story
talk
on
about
that.
them. They're wondering where it is, so they can go fishing up there.
yeah,
That's this statue.
we gave away some
Flashlights,
too.
yeah.
Flashlights, pen, and like a glow stick tip thing, kinda handy, put over here, like a lanyard.
Tackle boxes too for the.
Tackle box, bunch of tackle
prizes.
boxes and tents and chairs. and
Those are all donated.
Yeah, through funds, we use the funds to buy the stuff. Yeah.
What other organizations helped out on?
What's that?
What other organizations helped out on?
So, Key Club, yes, the Kiwanis.
Kiwanis provided the funding for the
fish, yeah, for the fish, and then Camden Bank threw in, I think it was $500 bucks. So nice, like some prizes.
So I take it you're all ready to do it again next?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, no, get
But
the,
can we make it a call to duty event?
kind of coined that right now,
Right.
verbiage. Yeah, I'm sure we could
That way
discuss
it's
that
easier
after.
for
I know that,
donation money purposes, I think.
Well, and at some point, we'll probably should have our 501c3
Right, we talked
for
about that
call to
last
duty, and then anything that's
That's associated.
associated with it, we can use, 'cause right now,
We talked about that, I think we should.
Rotary has been
Yeah.
very kind to us by allowing us to use their 501c3.
Probably getting.
Well, I
to
don't
the
see
point
this
where
as
we
a
should.
moneymaker, because there's
It's not
no.
a moneymaker, it's a-
Because there's no fee to,
It's a community
it's
event.
community event,
Event,
yeah.
bring the kids in and, yeah, it was pretty good.
well,
Well
watching
attended.
father jump in. It's kind of funny, because I was right next to the guy. The little girl's holding a little 4-foot fishing pole. Fish hits the bait or whatever, and her pole flies out of her hand.
I did see that.
It goes into the water, and you can see the pole like skirting deeper and deeper, and father jumped in, grabs the pole, and it was,
Did he get the fish at least?
yeah.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Wow,
Did
it
he
was good
stay on the
times,
pole?
yeah.
That's nice.
He had to pull back to his daughter, who was freaking out.
Hope someone got that on video.
I think the mother got the kid.
Yeah.
Dad to the rescue.
Yeah.
All in all, good event, great event. Really nice year.
Okay, I think we move on to new business E, policies of benefit and conditions of work, which you,
So updated from the one that was in your packet is what we want to update the policy to.
Mhm.
And it addresses what, we didn't have anything in our policy that addressed what a full-time employee was, or the rights and benefits of light duty. And so we just wanted to put it in writing so that basically.
so those two
employees-
last paragraphs are
Yes,
are then
yeah,
amended.
yeah, the two last paragraphs of what's, above that's what we already had in policy.
And not having the old one was, that's why I was interested in. Are you looking for a motion to approve this, Chief?
Yes, sir.
Do you need a copy of the old one? Sorry.
Oh, we have one.
Oh,
You can
okay.
give us one, yeah. Yeah, they're just an addition to what already exists. Definition of full-time and light duty. I don't see any issues
I'll make
with the
mo-
amendment. Make a
I'll make the
motion.
motion.
I'll second it, that we approve this policy change. Okay, moving on to new business F, job satisfaction survey.
So like I discussed with you guys during the hiring process, we're moving forward with that job satisfaction survey. I was actually hoping to have it out by yesterday, but the deputy chief and I are gonna get together with what I had.
Yes.
What you guys saw.
Oh, so you're gonna put
And
your
what he
brainstorm?
previously put out as a climate survey. And so I wanna get a more comprehensive, because it sounds like the one the deputy chief put out has some things that were missing from mine, and.
So
mine
that's,
had-
that's the delay, that
Yeah.
you wanna kind of merge the
Yeah.
best of two worlds, so to
That's,
speak.
that's great. We had a patrol meeting Tuesday, and I talked about it
Yeah.
during the patrol meeting, that it was coming and how important it was for them to be honest on it, you know what I mean? And just tell us what their true thoughts were on how the department is and how it is to work here. Just as kind of like a baseline, it's more, a lot is it for me, so I
Right.
have a baseline of where I am now and where I'll be in a year from now, you know what I mean?
Can you elaborate on the last,
In 2022 and 2023,
Yeah.
did one each of those years. And just trying to cover all aspects of employment here, breaking it down into the different divisions, from dispatch, prosecution, IT, patrol effectiveness, time to do their work, middle management, upper management, direct supervisors. So we'll score that out, and there's an opportunity to give comments. So get some good feedback from that. As you know, over the last 6-7 years, there's been a lot of turnover, and with that, different personalities, different opinions, different expectations.
I'm gonna say, so this should be interesting once you do this. I mean, this is not gonna take long once you merge the
Correct.
questionnaire. And
I'm hoping to get it out next week
Yeah.
to them, and so maybe not by the July meeting we'll have gone through it all, but definitely by the August.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a July meeting.
Well, I guess that's up to you guys.
No, it's up to you. I think, under the circumstances, probably a good idea.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, I'm good
still
with it.
getting.
Yeah.
When we get to scheduling, Thursdays is not good for me, so during the summer,
Okay.
in July and August,
Thursdays is a day that you
when I work.
work.
And,
Okay. Well, we'll just keep that in July and August. We can probably.
We'll just skip
That's-
July and August.
I don't think the chief wants that. I don't think the deputy wants it either.
Maybe one of them next year.
We've done Tuesdays historically during the summer. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. I can't.
I'm open to whatever.
I think Wednesdays are better, so that everything could be.
Wednesdays-
for them on
Well, yeah, so
Wednesday.
you have time to prepare. the
Wednesdays is
agenda
fine
and
with
stuff.
me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I work Tuesday and Thursday, so.
Okay.
Unless you still take Wednesdays off sometimes in the summer. So, we'll figure it out.
It should be interesting to compare the, of course, like you say, you're not comparing apples to apples because you've got a different, a different blend of officers now from the last.
And, I mean, we should definitely see improvements.
Yeah.
We marked for those first two. So time to do your work. Hopefully we see an improvement there.
Is that it, Chief?
Yep, that's all I got.
New business G, retiree newsletter. Now, that's, Officer Gender puts that out, correct? Or you?
It's a combination.
Jen.
Oh, Gender.
We give her, but she puts it together.
Oh, she puts it together. So it wouldn't happen without Jen.
So you're the editor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Editor-in-chief.
Yeah.
So it's almost ready to send out. I was shoulder surfing her this morning while we were talking, and she was working on it. So we're gonna be sending that out to all the retirees, and I'll make sure that you guys and Commissioner Piven gets one, so that you guys can see the product.
Well, I'll tell you what, I occasionally run into the retirees, and Chief Buto's that breakfast, that retiree breakfast is a big hit, and I, just an idea to put it out for a small fee for all of law enforcement, because it is a close-knit group in this state. I mean, it's surprising, I was talking to, now he's a commissioner, Skipper, and it's like I almost knew him because we have so many mutual friends.
Yeah, it's such a
It is a small, close-knit, and I think they like it. And I volunteered to cook the bacon, which was wasn't at the last
Well,
breakfast.
we're gonna hold you to that.
We're gonna have to bring that
I was talking about
Blackstone grill or
cooking, who's gonna
something.
buy it?
Yeah, right.
We'll figure
Yeah,
that out.
bacon's expensive now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's $5 a market basket. $5 a pound.
Only 100 pounds.
I'm told the best way to cook it is with a flat stone, which I have.
The Blackstone grills. You gotta bring your Blackstone
I'm
grill.
gonna have to have some help from the officers. I don't know, either that or a trailer. I wanna lift it into the truck. New business H, correspondence.
So having been here 2 weeks is not much.
There's not much.
But I did pen a letter to the sheriff's office. They had emailed me requesting support, not just me, but the county law enforcement. They're in the process of applying for a cops hiring program, Cops More grant.
Like
to put a-
we've got,
Yeah.
Chief Morency has done that.
Right. So they're in the process of applying for one of those grants, and part of the grant application is local support from other agencies on getting the grant. So they asked me to pen a letter, and I penned a letter for them. So if you guys want to read it.
They're looking to expand their department.
Yeah, they
more
want to add,
full-time.
they want to add one more full-time person to it. The new sheriff seems very motivated to move that department forward, and my understanding is they're getting a records management system this year for the first time. And so that's gonna.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
Exactly.
Because, and you know what, and that doesn't fall upon the past sheriffs, because
Right.
the commissioners did not.
I remember, I was around, dating myself, I was around before they had any full-time employees. It was the elected sheriff, and then he had part-time deputies. And of course, the now sheriff is one of the first hires, full-time hires that department ever did.
Yeah.
And I remember back then, it was that was 1998-ish, probably, 99, that they did that, and the commission did not want them doing law enforcement activities.
No,
unless
they just
had-
wanted to serve
unless
papers,
they had it.
basically,
Yep.
and be bailiffs.
Yep, serve papers, transport people, that's what they wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that's changing. I
Well,
think
their
that's part
budget
of
was
it.
about $500,000 at the time also.
Right.
That may have been a motivating factor,
Yeah.
is money.
I go back to Emil Martineau. It was him and his buddy Duchesne, and that was almost the whole department.
Yeah,
An old guy by the name of Baker.
yeah, yeah. So,
You do go back.
I do go back.
I do remember that as well.
and then you, sorry,
No, you were still a teenager, I think. Right.
he was still a teenager?
Yeah, pretty close.
Oh, no, I was an officer when Emil Martineau was sheriff.
Yeah.
21, 20, whatever.
Okay.
Close.
Teenager, right? Yeah.
Right, teenager compared to him.
He aged well.
Yes.
And the only other thing I had is that the Berry Conservation Camp will be operating up at the Berlin Fish Hatchery again, June 17th to August 8th, and they were just letting us know that they're going to be up there, because obviously we do patrol up there, and they wanted us to know that they'd be up there.
The state operates that?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
actually,
Fishing
it's
game,
through
is
the,
it?
it's through the University of New Hampshire Extension,
Oh, okay.
but it's run up at the fish hatchery.
Yeah, because technically the hatchery is in the town, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And so they have staff, they have 10 staff members, 42 campers weekly. They're ages 10 to 15. But they also have an on-call residential nurse who visits daily, 2 staff are EMTs, 2 staff are wilderness first responders, 8 staff with Red Cross responding to emergencies and CPR and AED. So they were just basically letting us know that they're gonna be up there those weeks, so that we knew in case they needed us or needed help. And that was it.
That was it on correspondence? Okay, new business, stats. It's changed a little bit. I knew it would. A lot of verbal arguments. Could it be the weather?
Maybe.
Everybody's cooped up inside.
Yeah.
It's also playoff season for hockey.
Think that's a factor? Lieutenant?
Are you speaking from experience?
Yeah, yeah. Well, overdoses are up 50%. I'm actually surprised with that. Sexual assaults are up, and I suspect they'll be up next meeting. Misdemeanors, that's a pretty substantial jump.
Yeah.
That's 43%.
42%, yeah, 43, yeah.
And I think most of these will probably stay the same or go up a little bit more. School's getting out, travel season has started, and seeing and dealing with more people.
Well, we've been trending so low, I knew that it wouldn't continue on. That's just, it was a low.
Restraining and stalking orders too.
That was along with the verbal argument.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Maybe they're all part of the same. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is possible to have a verbal argument, us not arrest somebody, but then get a restraining order, you know, depending on the cases.
Those orders served, is that what that stat is?
No.
Because I know there's been a number
Yes,
of
it
orders
is.
denied recently.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen
New judge?
We've seen some orders denied recently.
This is number of orders that we've entered into IMC.
So those are all actual orders.
Yeah.
We have a new judge though, don't we? Relatively new.
We do, there's actually, it seems like every time I go into the courtroom, it's a different judge. So there's a new judge, but then I think there's a new fill-in also. I don't know if Suber's even sits in Berlin.
No,
anymore.
No, she's probate, I believe.
So I think there's a new judge and a new fill-in. Because I've seen 2 new judges in the last few weeks.
I won't make a comment because not knowing, it does matter on the judge as far as those ex partes at 5 or 4 on Friday afternoons irritated me as a bailiff. New business, other, Jay.
So I have one thing that came up yesterday during that legislative thing. I was approached by the owners of Moms of Manchester,
Okay,
and I was introduced as the new chief, and I was asked if I was bringing a golf tournament back for the Call of Duty Memorial, and I was offered $1 million hole-in-one.
oh, from the owner, yeah.
From the
Well, that's a pretty safe bet, I could offer that too.
So the way he explained it to me, because he's doing one for a different golf tournament.
Now, was it Larry's father?
Yes.
Okay, Larry Senior.
Yeah, Larry's seen it. Is it has to be 165-yard par, I'm not a golfer, so
Yeah.
it has to be 165.
Par 3.
He said we know. I enjoy it during a scramble like the golf tournament.
So you can occasionally hit
Yeah,
a good
yeah,
shot.
yeah. Even a blind squirrel finds it not once in a while.
And Keith Robar's got a hole in one. I mean, there's a classic example of that.
So my understanding is it has to be a par 3, 165-yard hole.
Or more?
Right. But then all the other par 3 holes also it's not the $1 million. They choose one for the $1 million, but all the other par 3 holes have a prize, a money prize associated with a hole-in-one in those holes also. So.
Is that all part of the insurance for all of the?
Yeah, I
par 3?
assume, because I didn't realize, how I learned it was planning the golf tournament in the past was,
It's a lot of work.
you see like a car dealership say, hey, we're offering you a car for a hole-in-one. It is a lot of work. Is offering a car for a hole-in-one, well, they're not actually putting up that car,
No,
they're
they
buying an
should-
insurance
they're buying
policy.
insurance.
And I'm assuming this $1 million a hole is the same.
It
I'm
is.
assuming the Moms of
Yeah.
Manchester's not putting it.
It's not, because we've had Berlin City do the same thing in the past, and it's not really expensive for them to purchase that type of insurance. It's like $500.
That's because they know
For
there's a
them
lot
to-
of
Well,
golfers like me.
it's unlikely that it'll
Right,
occur.
exactly.
Yeah. So,
But it does happen.
but that's one of the things he offered to try to get that tournament back.
Did he bring in a team?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they brought a team.
Yeah.
And they would get a sponsor and
Yes, they would.
sponsorship.
Yeah, he actually, him and his son, Larry Jr., actually said that that's their favorite golf tournament they play in.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Gorham course should be in premier shape with all the rain that we receive. I mean,
If it's anything like my grass growing up,
is that it?
but that's all I had on this. Wait.
Okay, and last on the agenda is, do we have any public comment? Andre?
So I've sent in several requests to your records department. All of them have kind of been denied. They told me to go through the deputy chief, looking for the disciplinary files for Eric Benjamin, Zach Howery.
Okay.
If there's a way I can get those, that would be great.
If we can legally release it, we'll release it. If we can't, we won't.
The New Hampshire Supreme Court has recently ruled that it's public record.
If you could send me that
That case law, yeah.
okay, and send it, communication needs to be through my email, okay? I want it to be in writing through my email. There's been several times that I was expecting something from you.
I haven't
seen
been
it.
able to get through. I get this, I don't even, for some reason my emails don't go out. I don't know.
Okay.
But I will double check. If not, I will put it on a piece of paper and put it in the dispatch.
Please send me that case law though.
Okay.
Is that it for public comment?
I don't really comment, but nice hair.
Oh.
By the way,
There's
this
my
is,
comment.
anyone who doesn't know, this is my son, Michael.
Nice to meet you, Michael. Do we have a need for a non-public, Chief? Okay, well, I will entertain a motion to go into non-public.
Should we
Yes.
set the
Oh, yes,
next
I
meeting?
did it again. I was gonna do it when we came back in,
Okay.
but
So we'll
let's
be
set
going
the
another-
next meeting.
We're setting the meeting first, right?
Yes.
Okay.